Good. I will going to have the microphone for the audience, so just hold the microphone there. Perfect. And then we will need someone that's running around.
You're right to the doctor.
You're gonna use this one, and to turn on, you have to press this 2 seconds, and then the and turn off 2 seconds. Okay, and when you talk, you have to do this distance. And when you move, you have to move with a because it's this distance. It doesn't move.
Oh, okay.
Hello guys, can you hear us? Can you talk someone from the Zoom meeting?
Yes, it's available to voice. Hi.
How many people do you have?
Perfect, we hear you clearly also.
There will be 4 on stage, or how much? Will Magdalena be here already? Will Magdalena be here already?
No.
No, okay. And, oh, but Alina's here. Or is she?
I think we can also have Alina if you need help with the minutes or something.
No, I don't need help, but just was asking if she is
Yeah.
here or not.
Alina?
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Online people, can you ask?
Yes, we hear you. Just the background voice is crowded.
Perfect. It's amazing. We can hear you and you can hear us.
Hola.
Can you see us? No.
Okay.
Yes.
You can see me from the webcam. Perfect.
Yeah.
We have my laptop. What are you doing with that camera? Nothing.
We should bring it forward and put it there.
Like the question, like if you have a camera, do you want to record it?
It is
If you have a camera.
on.
The camera is going to be connected to one of the. So if you
Okay.
have a screen.
Perfect. The camera is going to be one of them.
It's
Perfect.
going to be one of the participants and it's going to be showing the perspective of the camera.
Perfect. Very good. Like, okay. Yeah, that's fine.
Annalena, are you?
I don't know. And the presentation is in which laptop?
This is a test. Is it working?
That one is always functional.
Hello, hello. Do you hear me, guys?
Yes.
Also test.
No, test.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Welcome, welcome. It's great to have you here, online audience.
Keywords.
You can say more words.
Hola.
So what about now? Do you hear me? Do you hear me?
No, but
1, 2,
speak-
3.
speak to me. How are you
Yes.
doing?
I'm doing really well. And what? What? Closer. Okay. So now it's better. Yeah. Okay. 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 We'll keep that in mind. Hello, guys.
Hi. Hi, Bora. Hi, Boba.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, everyone.
Please take a seat in the middle to the front, please. In-person delegates, to the front, to the front, to the front.
Guys, please be seated. We will start in a few minutes. Hi, online participants. Sorry for the delay. People are just being seated. We will start very soon. Thank you for your patience. Guys, please sit down. We will start. If there are more people at outside.
There's a sound in the audio. I'm not sure where it's coming from.
Yeah, kind of rainy or something.
Yes, can you hear you better?
It's sound is still there. Maybe it's from the mic.
Can you hear?
It's still there, the sound.
I'm doing that.
Yeah, it's over. We can hear you now very well.
Okay, thank you. Okay, guys, are you ready? Are you ready? Yes. So welcome to the 33rd IFSA General Assembly. It's a great honor to finally have an in-person GA after 2 years of COVID. And we are so grateful again for the IFSS OC that providing us this space for this session. It's great to have you all here. So, online participants, are you ready? Give us some reactions.
Yes, we're ready.
Can you show all of them, Simone? We have currently 18 online participants with us that are unfortunately are not here, but we can see them now. Perfect. So let's start the first General Assembly. One round of applause again. For starters, we will have an overview of today's agenda. First, we will have the nomination of the Board of Assembly and Election Committee that will be running this GA. And then we will have the invitation of the guests and proposals, GA proceedings and voting system, presentation from the annual report, membership report, the new IFSA strategy, and also the presentations from the financial report from the last IFSA term, and also the announcement of the officials of the year. So, which is going to be amazing. So, as you know, IFSA has a lot of volunteers from all around the world. And this year, unfortunately, as a community, we had a huge loss due to the ongoing war in Ukraine. Semen Oblame was one of the IFSA members who was very active with a bright future. He was the vice president of the LC Kiev, and unfortunately he is no longer with us. In order to commemorate his memory, Head of Partners Commission, Volodymyr Kravets, will give you a little speech about Semen.
Thank you very much, Alif. Thank you very much for the opportunity to talk. And yeah, I will go straight away to my speech. So there is a saying that war takes the best of us. And to my deepest regret, due to the Russian aggression on Ukraine, one of my closest friends, Semen Oblame, died on the 21st of June on the front line in the Severodonetsk. I was lucky to know him during the peaceful times at our university, where we were following the same goals together. He was an example for everybody, and especially for me, with his motivation, desire to live, and dedication to sharing love with his wife, friends, and people around. Interesting fact that the first time we met at our LC meeting in Kiev, after this, he became a proactive and valuable member of our IFSA local committee. He was one of those people who keeps LCs going. And I truly believe that he would have become a great part of IFSA officials team. At the age of 22, he died as a hero who, without any doubt, went to protect his beliefs and his country at the highest costs. He was an extraordinary man and a great example for all of us. I would like to ask everyone to honor his life and feat of our colleague and my close friend, Semen Oblame, by joining in the minute of silence. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Volodymyr, for this speech. Even though IFSA is a non-political organization, we can't ignore this huge loss on our community. So therefore, we wanted to commemorate Semen's memory. And thank you for joining us with this commemoration. So now we can proceed with the General Assembly. For starters, we have already met with all of you guys, but you might be not sure of all of our positions. So therefore, we thought that it's better to start with a bit of introduction of ourselves. Here you can see the IFSA board. Let's start with the IFSA direction, which is first goes with Magdalena, our dear president. She's joining us today, but unfortunately she will join in the afternoon. So we can give her a big hug when she arrives. And secondly, you know me, I'm Elif. Okay. I'm Elif, I'm the vice president of IFSA.
And hello, everyone. And I'm Simone, and I'm currently the executive secretary of IFSA, and very happy to be in the first Hybrid J.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jonas, and I am the outgoing treasurer of IFSA.
Hi, everyone. I'm Isabel de la Paz. I'm currently the internal counselor of IFSA.
Aditi here. Okay, so hello, I'm Shimon, and I'm currently the membership counselor of IFSA.
And also we have dear Alina here, who is helping us with the moderation. So thank you so much, Alina. Okay, so let's start with the first point of our agenda, which is the voting nominations. As you know, we are having the first hybrid IFSA General Assembly, which means that we can't have the voting right here in person. And we can give the opportunity for LCs to vote online with the online voting system that we are implementing. And one of the first of the voting nominations are the Board of Assembly and the Election Committee that is running this GA. So currently for the Board of Assembly, as a chairperson, we have Magdalena, and as an assistant, I have the duty. And the second assistant is Belle, who is joining us online. And we think that it's also important to have one online person in the board, two online person in the Board of Assembly, and also for the election committee. And we have as keeper of the minutes, Jonas and Shimon helping us. Moving on to the election committee, we have as in-person member, Simone, and as an online member, Chloe. So proceeding with the invitation of guests, currently we have as external guests only the IFSA alumni. So we are also inviting them to join the General Assembly proceedings. So now we are going to learn more about the General Assembly, how it's working, and how is the voting system that we will use. And Simone will give us the presentation regarding that.
Thank you, Alice. And I'm just going to stand up. So I was saying, this is the first hybrid GA. We have never done this. We only had GA in person, where we used to vote with a voting card. Maybe you've seen this on Discord. We should have got one for memory purposes. Then we had the online GA when everything was online. And now we are back in person finally, but still we want to keep the online part because we feel it's way more inclusive. We have everyone that can participate during the GA, can vote. You don't have to travel to Chile. Everyone should travel, but we know it's not possible. So I'm going to explain you the voting system, which, and you need to be a bit with me because it can be a bit more complex. So stay tight. So again, it's hybrid. And also something important is that like we are trying to make the participation for online people the same for the people in person. So yeah, you're from the audience, you can just raise your hand and ask a question. Same thing for the people online. You can see them, you can talk with them, they can hear us. So it should be as smooth as possible. So for anything, you can be here or online, doesn't change anything. And also the voting doesn't happen during the GS sessions. If you have some people with some experience of previous past IFSS, they would recommend these hours spent counting votes. We're not going to do that because we cannot guarantee that now everyone is available, even though we are trying our best with the time zone to have at this time that works for, it's the less worst for everyone. It's still like hard to ask for everyone to log in now if they have the right to vote. So we are going to vote between GA sessions. You're going to, maybe next slide. Yeah. You're going to vote between, this is like additional stuff, actually on participation during the GA. We have at the moment our moderator. And so before speaking, you need to get approval from the moderator. This happens, is the same for in-person and online people. And if when there are moment to ask question or comment, we really want to see your interaction, just want to make sure that it's ordered. So raise your hand and vote online and vote in person. And yeah, there are going to be slots for asking questions, comment, or anything. Yeah. So other very important thing, maybe very, very important. We are going to have a lot of documents, especially this GA. This session now, we are going to have a few hundred pages of document. We don't want to print 100 pages document for everyone, even though someone says that like this helps the forest industry because we produce more paper. We don't really want to do that. But we have online documents. Everyone has a phone. You have a Wi-Fi here. So please go to this QR code and go on session 1, which you will find all the documents we're going to talk about this session. And make sure that you find them because those are the official documents we are going to discuss. I think so. QR time. Perfect. We can also send a link in the chat, the WhatsApp chat. Okay. Let's say again, like the voting happens between GS sessions. The voting lasts at least 48 hours, so we can give everyone a fair chance to vote, also taking account the different time zones. And everyone see that pay the membership fee as the right to vote. So yeah, there are no proxy votes. In the past, there used to be proxy votes. It's not going to happen because everyone can vote on the same level, can just vote remotely. And also to take decisions, each voting session we need the quorum to reach. So I need at least 25% of eligible C voting for general changes and 30% for ROPs and statute changes. Next slide, please. Yeah, so the voting platform. So we are going to vote it, again, I said online. And there is this very cool platform called Election Buddy, which makes voting online a breeze because it's simple, easy, very intuitive how it works, and yeah, also guaranteed and tranquil voting because we are trusting that this platform is built properly, and and even as an admin of the voting, we cannot access the vote. We have no idea. Like there's no way to mess up the votes because the platform is managing it. So if you get a mail from the platform, then it's safe. How to vote. So you're going to receive on your LC official email address a ballot. And this is very important. This is the only way to vote. There is no other way. If you don't have access to your email address, get in touch with me, send an email to web@ifss.net. We can give you access to the email address. Takes 30 seconds, but that's the only way to vote. So again, if you don't have access to the email address, I think it's time to have, but that's the only way you can vote. And also you can't change your vote after submitted. You can start look at the ballot, but then when you submit it, you submit it. And if you want further help, you can also find here like a step-by-step guide, but it's really easy. Now we're getting on the fun part, which are the voting system. So far, so good. Most of the things are going to be just approved by simple majority. For example, at some point, we're going to vote about the Board of Assembly. It's like, do you approve this? Yes or no? Easy, PC. And then here you have three options on the ballot: approve, reject, and abstain. So you approve this proposal, you can reject or abstain. And if more than 50% are for approve, it's approved. And this is the full voting system. For example, say like the agenda, change RP, the budget, everything. The only difference is for the elections, where we are going to use planning to use this system called star voting. I will explain now how it works and then why we're using this. So how it works is in 2 steps. So like you in your ballot, you are going to rank candidates from 0 to 5, and you can give the same score to multiple candidates. After that, there is going to be the 2 best candidates, the candidate with the highest score are going to be the finalists. And those 2 finalists are going to be, there's going to be this automatic runoff. So for each ballot, you're going to see which candidate has, for each ballot, you're going to see which candidate of the finalists has the preference. But I think, yeah, this gives you an idea, but we're going to have a video, but we need to share it there. Wait, no, wait, need to share it here. Yeah, but like, there's going to be no sound if you share it there. Sorry. Technical issues as usual. No, don't share the sound there because like I need to, yeah, share the sound here. Otherwise it's not going to work. Because I feel like this video is much better than me explaining. And then I need to share the screen for Zoom. You need to give me access to share the screen from there. I cannot share the screen. You need to change, no, in the, online people, can you see the screen now?
Yes, you can.
And tell us if you can hear as well.
How does STAR voting work? STAR stands for Store Then Automatic Runoff. And that's exactly how it works. Just give your favorite 5 stars. How does STAR voting work?
Sorry.
STAR stands for Store Then Automatic Runoff. And that's exactly how it works. Just give your favorite 5 stars, give your least favorite 0, and score the others as you like. With STAR, it's easy to show your preference order and also your level of support for each candidate. It's safe to vote your conscience, and you don't have to worry about voting for the lesser of two evils or wasting your vote. Now let's see how the ballots are counted. Here's the first ballot. This voter gave 3 stars to Abby, 4 stars to Ben, 0 stars to Carmen, and 5 stars to DeAndre. Here's the second ballot. Note that this voter gave Abby and DeAndre the same score, which is permitted in star voting. We'll add these stars to the total. And we'll continue adding up the scores until all the ballots are counted. The 2 highest scoring candidates are finalists. The remaining candidates are out of the run. Now it's time for the second round of tabulation, the automatic runoff. Each ballot counts as 1 vote for the finalist each voter preferred. Let's see how many people prefer Carmen over DeAndre and vice versa. This voter preferred DeAndre to Carmen, so this vote goes to DeAndre. This voter also preferred DeAndre to Carmen. Note that their favorite candidate was Abby, but she didn't make it to the runoff round. Even though this voter's favorite couldn't win, their vote still makes a difference and goes to the finalist they preferred, DeAndre. This voter gave both DeAndre and Carmen 5 stars, indicating that they like both equally. Since this voter will be equally happy with either, this ballot is counted as a vote of no preference. This voter preferred Carmen to DeAndre, so this vote goes to Carmen. And the last voter preferred DeAndre to Carmen, so this vote goes to DeAndre. Regardless of the scores given, each ballot ultimately counts as 1 vote. DeAndre wins. DeAndre was in the top 2 highest scoring candidates, and he had the greatest number of voters prefer him over Carmen. Star voting measured how strongly voters liked DeAndre, and also how many voters supported him. So to recap, STAR stands for score, then automatic runoff. And that's exactly how it works. Voters fill out the ballot on a 0 to 5 star scale. The 2 candidates with the most stars advance to the automatic runoff. The candidate preferred by the most voters wins. Now that you know how it works, want to try out star voting for yourself? Create your own star voting polls at star.org.
Yes. Hope this video was helpful. Can you share the screen there? Oh, actually, wait, I can share the screen here because I'm. No, you can share the screen there because then otherwise we don't see on Zoom. Sorry. Yeah. So I hope this video was better than me explaining because you had animation. Now we're going to try to explain you why we're doing this, and because I get it's a bit complex, but we really want to make sure that everyone understands how it works and what's the implication of this voting system. So this is exactly what you're going to see in your ballot. This is a screenshot of our voting platform. For each candidate, you can score them. And the thing you need to know is that like 2 is the lowest score to get elected. So if a candidate has less than 2 as a final score, they're not going to be elected, which is the same of voting for open call. Like you don't want the candidate, even though they are not, like you don't want the candidate independently of if it's the best or not. So remember that 5 is the max, 0 is the lowest. And you can also abstain for each candidate, which is just leaving the bar there. And if you abstain from that candidate, for that candidate, you're not going to, your ballot is not going to be counted. And that's it. And you can also abstain from the whole ballot to just make it faster. But that's the idea. Yes. No, wait. There is a slide missing here, but what I want to wait. Can we go back? Sorry. Anyway, no. What I want to try to tell you quickly is why we are doing this. We don't want to make our life more complex. The GA is already complex enough. But the advantage of this voting system is that we can have multiple elections at once. So you can run for 2 positions at the same time, And in this way, we do one election. Since we collect all the information from the voters, then if you then decide, if you get elected for 2 positions, we can automatically get the second best candidate without having to do a press election or a second election and so on, which wouldn't work with time constraints in the online GA, because in person you can just run another voting, but online is going to take 2 months to finish this. Then this also led us to ensure that we have like regional diversity in the board, because in the current RP, we have the rules that the board has to be from at least 2 regions. And there is no way we can enforce it with the candidates. But in this way, if the best board, if the board is the one is all from a region, then we can have a system to pick the second best candidate automatically. And the last thing is why we start voting and not just score voting, which is simpler, is that like this star voting really reduced the problem of strategic voting, which means that when you give 5 to your best candidate, 0 to everyone else, that's not really something we want to do. And in this way, it doesn't make sense. So you just need, it really makes you vote honestly on what you think about a candidate. And finally, this is a much better voting system than the simple majority one. So you can really express what you think about your candidates. There is, you can say, for me, everyone is excellent. For me, everyone is fine. Everything in between. So it's just a bit more complex, but I'm confident we can make this working. And the final thing about voting is the LC eligible to vote. So in this current General Assembly, we're going to have 67 LC eligible to vote, which is basically half of our LCs, which are the LCs that pay the membership fee this year. Yeah, that's not a lot, but that's, I would say, average. You can find the list of LC eligible to vote on the website. There is this PDF document with the list of LC eligible to vote. And that should be all about voting. And I would open the floor for questions, comment, anything. Microphone.
Oh, hello. Yeah. What happens in like the second part if you have the 2 candidates? So who voted in preference of who? If that is an equal amount of people.
We are going to get a candidate with the highest score, and if it's still a draw, we need to make an election. There is no way around it. But hope it's not going to happen. Like, I mean, we got elections stuck in IFSS for a long time.
Thank you for the word. My question was, our LC was not in the list. I'll right away ask why not.
Which LC is it?
The IFSO, LC Wageningen.
I think there was an issue that the membership LC or the membership fee wasn't paid last year, and we wrote an email to the LC that they still need to pay it, or to send a plea to the direction to waive the fee.
What term? Because I know it's paid, but
what do you say?
It's paid for 21-22.
Okay, then it would be nice if you could send us like the confirmation letter, and then we can check this.
Okay, thank you.
Do we have online questions? Perfect. Then I think I'm done for now, and hope you're going to vote well and enjoy the voting process.
Okay, so I see some sleepy faces. I think we need to wake up a bit. So I would like to ask all of you to stand up. And also online participants, you can join us.
now we need to show it properly.
Yes. So we will have a small dance. I will stop the screen sharing.
Yeah.
And online people, can you see the stage? Or we can just show from here also.
Yeah,
No?
we can see.
Yeah, because my camera is open. Hi.
Let
Guys.
go, let go.
Also, maybe you can send some love to online participants.
Let go, Luca.
Alina, would you like to tell a bit about this dance?
Depending if it's gonna start right away or not. I was asked to say something about this dance. Yeah, so some of you know this, some of you don't, but you will soon. This is an IFSS tradition going back to 2010 or so, when IFSS was held in Finland. And this song came to be a tradition that lasted up until now, at least, as they sang and danced to this like when they were on the bus. Every time the bus stopped, even on the traffic lights or something, they started singing and dancing this. And now we're gonna use it as a way to get up and wake up during the GA.
Huomio, huomio. Täällä puhuu laivan kapteeni.
Please dance with us
Tärkeä
as we
tiedotus
show you.
kaikille matkustajille.
You want to see your live participants?
Meidän laivassa, siinä on iso reikä pohjassa. Ja se uppoaa, jos et ryhdy toimimaan. Huomio, huomio, kaikki matkustajat pumppuihin. Ylös alas näin ja näin, ykköspumppu nyt jo käy. Meidän laivassa, siinä on iso reikä pohjassa. Ja se uppoaa, jos et ryhdy pumppaamaan. Ylös alas näin ja näin, yksi pumppu nyt jo käy. Ylös alas näin ja näin, kakkospumppukin jo käy. Mut meidän laivassa, siinä on iso reikä pohjassa. Ja se uppoaa, jos et ryhdy pumppaamaan. Ylös alas näin ja näin, kaksi pumppua jo käy. Ylös alas näin ja näin, kolmas pumppukin jo käy. Mut meidän laivassa, siinä on iso reikä pohjassa. Ja se uppoaa, jos et ryhdy pumppaamaan. Ylös alas näin ja näin, kolme pumppua jo käy. Ylös alas näin ja näin, nelospumppukin jo käy. Mut meidän laivassa, siinä on iso reikä pohjassa. Mut näin kun pumpataan ja reikä paikataan, päästään taas sen seilaamaan.
Thank you, Elena. I hope it helped you to wake up a bit. Yes?
No, online people don't hear you.
Thank you. Okay, so my question,
I haven't seen our LC in the list, but we paid maybe a bit later, but we paid. So are we eligible to vote? Just kind of like to be sure.
Yeah, you paid, so I will check this.
Okay, then everything's good.
Yeah, if you think there's any problems, we can check after the session if the payment went through and so on. And thank you so much, Alina. I think that woke us all up and it was a bit of a workout.
Can I officially record that I feel taken advantage of, as I was told I would be useful here on the stage, but you just wanted me for the pumpulaulu?
Yes, that was the whole plan. So big applause. Okay, so now let's get back to our presentation. Now I will tell you a little bit about the detailed agenda of the General Assembly, which also is will be on the voting ballot in order to be approved. So in total, we have 4 General Assembly sessions throughout the IFSS. And the first session is all about the summary of this IFSA term. The second one is more for the general IFSA decisions, for the changes in rules of procedure, or for the relevant proposals. And the third session is about the voting. So during the IFSS, we will have the voting for the board and the heads of commissions and IFSS. Yay! So the open call is still out there. If you still think of running for any position or IFSS, you should go for it. And yeah, we still have some time for accepting more applications. And yeah, and the final session is all about the closure of the year and opening a new chapter with the next IFSA term plans. We will have an open space for you to share your ideas. So until then, you can think about it and we can all have a collective space together to think about what will be in IFSA next year. So a bit more details to the agenda for the session 2. We have the announcement of the results of this voting that we will have after this session regarding the agenda, Board of Assembly, Election Committee, and IFSA strategy. And secondly, we will have the statute changes and ROP changes, and also the IFSA budget for the new IFSA term and establishment of the subcommissions. And also lastly, the nomination of honorary and consulting members. Would you like to say something about this?
Yes. Who in this audience knows about what's an honorary member? Okay, good. IFSA has a few type of members, actually too many, but the basic idea that there are the ordinary members, which are the LCs, and then there are some special members which don't really take part of activities. In IFSA, for example, they don't vote at the GA, but still we want them to be part of IFSA. Those are the consulting members, which are previous IFSA members that can still be somehow, that can still contribute to IFSA. And so at IFSA, we want to recognize them and to have this list of people that are not going to be in IFSA anymore, but they are still can contribute to IFSA. And then there is the honorary member, which is just that we wish to, to say thank you to someone and to give him the honor of being an IFSA honorary member. And the honorary member are forever, the consulting member are for 3 years. So during the GA, we can nominate as many consulting members as we want, but we can nominate up to 3 honorary members. So you should have got an email with a form. We can reshare it around. where we can collect nominations. It's important because we need nominations in 2 days because we are going to have the GA session soon. And by then we need a nomination. So if you don't nominate through the form by then, you cannot nominate anyone. So if you know anyone that has contributed to IFSA, either as a previous IFSA member or someone else, anyone that somehow contributed to IFSA, I want to thank, that's the way to go. In the form, they also ask you to put a small rationale of why you're nominating someone. So this cannot the GA making decisions. Question on that? Okay, then that should be it.
Any questions from the online participants?
Where can we find the form?
I sent it in the WhatsApp as well.
Thank you.
I see no questions from the online participants, so we can move on.
Hi.
Yes. Hello.
Hi. Hello. Good evening.
Yes, we are listening you.
Yeah. Good evening to you all, and I am so excited being with you the online session. My question about the election, online voting election.
Yes.
So you said that we're going to get an ballot, the voting ballot voting in our email, regional email.
You will get the email to your LC email accounts, official
Yeah,
IFSA LC email account. Yeah.
No, I didn't. Are we going to ask the regional representative to give us that link of the ballot paper vote? This is my question.
No, the regional representatives won't share. We will share the ballots through the email to your IFSA LC email accounts. And if you don't have access to your IFSA LC email accounts, you can email to board or contact your regional representatives, and we can help you with the passport or login information.
Okay, are we going to, we have a personal email account. We don't have that IFSA account, email accounts. So I have a personal email account that I am receiving the information of IFSA through that.
So you need your official LC email, and we can write you after the session also if you have any problem accessing that. Okay. That would be fine.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Do you have any more questions?
No. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you for your question. And are there any other questions? I guess none. So let's move on to the agenda for the session 3. So session 3 is very exciting. We will have the vetting for the IFSA direction, council, and heads of commissions, as well as for the IFSS OC. It will be on the 4th of September, which is the election day here in Chile. So we have more freedom in the schedule to have it as an IFSA day. So we will have 2 workshops in this day along with the vetting. So it's pretty exciting. Again, I'm reminding you the open calls are out. If you want to get this chance to be involved in the officials team, just go for it. We have a lot of officials here, about 13 officials. If you have any questions, just talk to us at any time in the bus or in the excursions, and we will be more than happy to answer your questions. And the last session is the discharge of previous officials, announcing the new IFSA board, heads of commissions, and IFSS OC. And we will have a presentation from the next year IFSS OC, which will be in Germany. We have quite a few members in the organizing committee, including myself. So it will be very nice, and I hope that you will enjoy this presentation and next year IFSS. And lastly, we will have this open space to talk about plans about the next IFSA term, and lastly, closing of the General Assembly and party time. Okay, so now we are moving on with the reports. We have these reports uploaded in the links that you have received. And firstly, we will start with the annual report. And I will be telling you about the annual report. So, what is the annual report? The annual report is basically a report that summarizes all of the IFSA projects, events, and activities that happened during the IFSA term by officials, commissioners, and it contains a lot of information and it's very interesting. Here you can have an overview of the content. At first, we have the IFSA volunteers information, and following that, IFSA members overview, where are the local committees, their contact information, and many other information. And secondly, we have the section for the new partnerships, and also a section for the main IFSA projects, which we will have a workshop on 4th of September to tell you a bit more about, and also have your input through this workshop on for how to improve them. We have the IFSA events, the events that are organized by IFSA or IFSA delegations in external events. They are listed in the annual report. And following that, we have the IFSA publications, all including the newsletter. And another point is that the IFSA strategy update, which we will tell more about in this presentation in the later slides. And lastly, we have the officials and commissioners report explaining their tasks accomplished. And finally, the financial report. So let's have an overview of this information that are written in the annual report. First, we are starting with the IFSA volunteers information. In this term, we had 51 official positions in IFSA and 13 commissioners and overall 64 members from all around the world that have contributed to improve and work for our association. And here in this graphic, you can see the gender distribution among IFSA officials, which is quite equal. And yeah, it's nice to have an overview of this. And here you can have an overview of the regional distribution among IFSA officials in the last 3 years. Moving on to the new partnerships. This year we have 2 new partnerships with AUS Italia, which is a confederation of first-year students, University Association of Italy. So any Italians? Raise your hands, yay! So we finally had this agreement with AUS Italia, which is great. Currently there are 6 committees, seven local committees from Italy that are part of IFSA, but luckily maybe we can have all of the AUS Italia also included in the IFSA network. Would you like to say something for this? Oh, okay. And the second partnership is with ProSidva, which is a European confederation of professional foresters across more than 25 European countries. And yeah, so we have these 2 new partnerships this year. And another thing was on the annual report, as I told before, we have the main IFSA projects and descriptions of these projects. So if you're interested in them, you can have a look on the annual report, as well as participate in the workshop on 4th of September. We will also have this workshop for online participants, but it's not going to be hybrid. They will have it as separate, and we will have it here as well. So get ready for it. So you can have an overview here that the events organized by IFSA this year. We have several unofficial meetings beside our official meetings, such as the Germany meeting, twice we had this year, or once. The other one was in October. And we also included here our officials meetings, such as the board-to-board meeting, interim, which is the mid-year meeting of IFSA officials. Also, there is the internal department meeting, which took place in Indonesia this year. It was very nice. I really wish I was there. And also our regional meetings and some other meetings. And in this list, you can have an overview of the IFSA delegations this year. We were present in a lot of processes during these delegations, and we have also organized side events. And yeah, it's an honor to having the chance to be part of these events and present IFSA there. And yeah. And about the publications, this year we had a book launch, which was, the book was called Building a Successful Forestry Career in Africa. It was the joint UFRO-IFSA task force on forest education project, and it was in collaboration with IFSA and UFRO. This book was launched on 12th of August in a virtual event, as well as local committees in Africa held their in-person book launch, which was supported by the IFSA Development Fund. And other publication is the bi-monthly board reports, which is it hasn't been done before. With the board, we have gave the updates bi-monthly from different departments and our board updates. And other publication is the IFSA newsletter. I'm sure most of you are registered to it already. And if you're not, you can find the registration link on the IFSA website, as well as the previous IFSA newsletter publications. And also we had our departmental reports, which are very comprehensive. And we will hear also about the membership report in this presentation from Shimon. And lastly, we have the officials reports, which we have collected through the progress report. The progress report is collected twice a year in IFSA from the officials. And in this form, the officials are writing their accomplishments, overall experience in IFSA with online tools, and there are several other questions. And in the annual report, you can see the main accomplishments, work done beyond the position's duties, and the workload that the officials shared with us. And now I'm giving the word to Shimon, our membership counselor, to tell you more about the membership report.
Hello, everyone. I was waiting for this moment the whole year, so it's finally here. And that's the presentation of the membership report. As you might have heard, or I hope so, many of you, this year for the first time in IFSA's history, we collected the LC data on the global scale regarding the number of members, or in general, number of active members in the LC, their gender distribution, and also until now, we didn't know how many members we do have in IFSA, what's their gender distribution, what's the regional distribution, also how many projects the LCs have organized throughout the year. And that's why we wanted to know this. And that's what is described in the membership report, which I will now present. Please, next slide. First of all, why do we need to collect data? If we collect and analyze data, we are able to see where are our weaknesses, where are our strengths, where we need to focus our efforts, and by this way we can increase our impact and also increase or improve the membership experiences of our members. And so this year we started with the first two phases for now. the data collection and data analysis, which is now I will show next. So the data was collected between April and May of this year. If you ask why this month, because in every region and many times also within the same region, the examination periods are in different times. So we needed to coordinate when is the best time also for the LCs to have more time to answer our questions, the survey. And with the regional representatives, we made a short survey for the RRs to coordinate which months are the best. And April and May came out as the best month like very best. And so the survey asked about the LC members, as I already described, and the projects that the LCs organized throughout the year since August 21 till May 22. Back. Not yet. This one. Actually, we received the data from 80% of the LCs, from 107 out of 133, which is really amazing responsiveness. And I would like to thank you to all the LCs that have provided us with the data and make these efforts possible. So now the first round of this applause, yeah. And before moving, before we collected the data, I wrote in the chat with the regional representatives that the region and the RRs of the region with highest percentage of LCs responding the survey will get my deepest bow and respect. That's actually literally how I wrote it. And it wasn't just a figure of speech. So as you can see in this table, we have two regions where 100% of LCs responded to fill in the LC data. It's Northern Africa with the RRs Japet and Eugen, and Southern Europe with the RRs Sarah and Bora. And so I'm not so fit, so my bow will not be so deep, but it's the best I can do. So this is for you guys. And now we can move. And before showing the main results, I want to hear some guesses from the audience. First, you can just shout it and the online audience to write in the chat. So firstly, how many members do you think we have overall in IFSA? Just shout numbers. Don't be shy. 10,000 for the men on the left. 5,000 for 8,000. 600. Okay. 3,000. Do we have anyone from the audience? Okay, so 3,600, 7,500. Okay, we have many guesses. And so now we can actually go back to the slides and I will show you. We will show you. So there are almost 12,000 members overall in IFSA. Regarding their regional distribution, it's maybe a little bit surprising. We have almost half of our members are in Northern Africa. There are 45.7% of our members, which is over 5,000 members. And on the contrary, when we put together Northern and Latin America, they create only, for now, 4.5% of our membership base. And so that's one of the things that we need to work on to improve and attract more members and motivate more members, more students to join us in America, because that's at the moment our weaker side. And so the next guess, I see a question here.
Yes, thank you. My question is, if like almost half of IFSA is in Northern Africa, are there any plans to get more people from Northern Africa in the board or here? Because, well, as we see or as we know, because I spoke to almost everyone, there are almost no people from Northern Africa, but how do we represent IFSA if they are not here and not in the board?
That's a really great question. Applause for the question. Actually, just this year, the Northern African RRs, and especially JAPET, released a survey for Northern African members to see what are their perception, what are the weaker sides, or what are the challenges for the members in Northern Africa to get more involved in IFSA, and what are the most perceived solutions for this. And from the survey, it comes out that the members are mostly on the local level. They are part of the LC, but they don't know actually about IFSA. They don't know that they are part of this international association. And the most perceived solution was to increase awareness. And that's what I will talk also on. I already talked with the upcoming RRs for the Northern Africa, that we need to improve this and to talk with the presidents of the LCs to also have a space in their LC to talk about the international processes and international level of IFSA, and to motivate the students to join us and to apply for the positions, because we don't have so many applications. When we don't have the applications, we cannot elect them, right? And there are not, actually at the moment, I think there is even no one from Northern Africa here at this IFSS. There were supposed to come several people, but at the end, and there were also some of them were funded by the development fund, but because of the visa was the main problem. They didn't receive it, so that's why they couldn't come. And yeah, that's actually one of the great questions that we need to find answer for. There are currently few officials from Northern Africa, so one of the solutions could be to make their work more visible in the region, and so that the Northern African members can see that like it is possible, and that it is also very much needed to get more Northern African members in the board and in the official positions. Yeah. Also, if you saw before that Elif showed the graph with the regional distribution of the officials, even though we have 45% of the members from Northern Africa, there are not so many among officials. So yeah, that's one of the reasons. I hope I answered your question. And I saw there was another question before. I don't know if there still is. Okay, so maybe we can continue. So firstly, before moving to the next slide, I want the next guess, and that's how many, next slide is still about membership. So now we can move. And yeah, it's about the gender distribution and activity ratio. So for the gender distribution, we discovered that like we are, in terms of numbers, we are mostly equal in the binary gender distribution, so males, females. And there are few members that are, or not few, but there are also like smaller share of those who prefer not to say, and other non-binary. And activity ratio, we also asked how many of the LC members are active, which we defined as those who join at least 2 activities of the LC per year. So to make some unity in the definition. And we have 56.8% of the members active, which means that we still have a lot to go to unlock of our members to get more involved and more active in IFSA and in the LC. And now I would like to ask for another guess. Again, the same as before, you can shout the numbers and the online audience can write in the chat. And that's how many LC activities there were organized between August 21 and May 22. Any numbers? In total. 120. How many? 250. 50. 300. 500. Anyone in the chat? 300, 500. Okay, we have some guesses. We have some guesses. And so let's move now to see the answer. So next slide, please. And it's over 1,300. And when we ask about whether the activities were online or in person, or whether they were local or international, we discovered that over 90% of the LC activities are on local level, which makes much sense. And online and in person, it was different. It was 76.9% were in person, and then like 1/4 was online. But there were also differences between the region. For example, Asia Pacific was the only region that had more online activities than the in-person ones. And in the membership report, you can also find these results on the regional level and the comparisons between the regions. But I mean, that was not put in these slides because we don't have that much time for this. And yeah, we can move to the next slide. I don't remember what it was now. Okay, yeah, that was already a description of the membership report. So that's what we worked this year. It's like, I would say, the biggest project of the membership department with the help of Gender Subcommission. Very much appreciated Barbara and Teresa. And they are divided into 3 main parts. One is summary of the historical evolution of the membership. As I say, this is the first time we collected this data on the LC level and to see how many individual members we have. But we have data about the LC's evolution over time, so you can find this there. The second part is the description of this survey and of these results, and analyzed these results more in detail than what I say just here in a few minutes. And also, since one of the questions in the projects part was what LC activity the LC is most proud of, together with the RRs and with the board, we chose one of these LC projects per region, and we asked the LC to provide us more detailed description and some photos. So you can find these case studies of these projects also there in the membership report. And the third part is the implication, like discussion of the results, what it means, like why we have these results, and what does it mean for the future, and some based on these results, also some activities that might be implemented to improve the situation in the future. And it's already available on the website. When you go to ifsa.net/documents, you can already read it there. And I also right now ask our head of web subcommission to press the magic button and to publish the web post with the membership report. And yeah, that's for this part. And we can move to the next slide. And again, I put here again this diagram, and that's because the collection and analysis of the data, that's not the end, that's just the beginning. We need to now look at the results again and to make a strategy, some strategical activities to improve the situation, as I said, and by that increase the impact and also better represent our regions, our members, and yeah, to make IFSA membership experience much better for our members. And then we need to collect data again, analyze again, and this is a kind of a loop that is never ending. And that's all from my part. And now I hand off the word back to Elif. I guess to Jonas.
Yeah, thank you so much, Simon, our membership counselor, or as we call MC. Yeah, I had the pleasure to work with Simon as regional representative last year for Southern Europe. and seeing this project that it's like his baby and now coming into action and like having these final results made me really emotional, and I'm really proud of you. Yeah, thank you for all your hard work, also to regional representatives. So big applause. AMC, AMC. And now we are moving on to financial report, which I'm giving the words to our treasurer, Jonas. Floor is yours.
Yeah. Yes, so let's go to the more boring part about stupid numbers and IFSS finances. You can go on. Okay, yeah. Okay, this is still different. Maybe go one slide further. I've changed the order. Yes, so I'm going to start with the main overview about IFSS finances. Yeah, good. So we started our term with about 130,000 euros on our bank account this year, and we actually plan to spend around 90,000 of it. You see, it didn't work out. We ended up with just with expenses of only 19,000 euros in total. So that's about 70,000 less. The reason why we wanted to spend that much is that we need to, or that we want to keep our non-profit status, which means that we have to spend all the money that we receive through donations or other income within the next 2 years. And this is kind of problematic, or this used to be kind of problematic during the COVID situation, where we only had online events and couldn't really spend all the money that we received from our sponsors and donators in a proper way, and we accumulated all the money. That's how we ended up with the 130,000 in the first place. And unfortunately, also in the last term, we were not able to spend all the money that we wanted to. Furthermore, another reason is that we had an unexpectedly high income from different sources that we didn't know of when we started our terms. So we couldn't take this into account when we originally built our budgets. So yeah, besides the bank account, we have a PayPal account, which is not as important. It's rather just a platform to do our transactions. There are only like 80 euros left on it. And yeah, so in the end, now we have 111,000 euros left on our deadline date of August 23rd. So here, oh, yeah, go one slide. So on our budget that we had, you cannot see the original budget, but how we spend our money this year. Originally, we wanted to spend around 4,000 euros on our general expenses, which are like different things for the website, or plugins, and general things to run the organization. We kind of exceeded this amount due to one incident in the beginning of our term where the IFSA website was hacked, and we needed to, buy some security software and had to run a security check, which consumed a little bit more money than we wanted to. The second thing are the meetings, including the IFSS or the GA, all the expenses, then the interim in February, and regional meetings, as well as the board and official meetings. We originally wanted to spend around 50% of our budget there. In the end, we ended up with only spending 23% of our total budget. So this is due to the fact that we didn't carry out all our regional meetings in person. A lot of, or a few of the regional meetings only could happen in a remote and online way. So they also didn't had such high expenses and didn't requested the 2,000 euros that we allocated to each of the regional meetings. Furthermore, the funds. So we have the development fund that IFSA LCs, but also individual people can apply for to maybe get financial help to travel to IFSA events or to organize events within LC. And we kind of started very late with actually advertising this fund this year. So we started in May, I think it was. And since then, we pretty much only spent like €2,500. We plan to spend a little more money on people who cannot attend the IFSS by their own due to their financial situation. Unfortunately, the open call or the entire process started a little late. So people who applied for the money couldn't go in the end due to different reasons, like they couldn't receive their visas in time, or just the prices and the costs for their flights increased tremendously, which didn't fit our budget anymore. For projects, we didn't spend anything. This is also due to the fact that on a tree learning platform, nothing really happened. And we can just hope that in the next term, we see some progress there and that we actually are able to use the money. I think we allocated like €2,000 for it to pay professionals to create content for this platform. And yeah, for the future, we hope that this money is actually spent and used in a proper way to provide some education on our IFSA website. The last thing about the partners, we have an agreement with IUFO where 1 or 2 people, it depends on the year, are having an internship with IUFO, and we get money from IUFO to spend it on those interns to cover their life expenses or the living expenses. This year we had 2 interns using this opportunity, and we spent €4,000 on them. The rest is just the IUFO membership fee. For the FAO delegations, we received money during the last years, so still during COVID times, to attend FAO organized events. And we had a few delegations going to FAO events like the World Forestry Congress, and we spent about €10,000 for those people to actually be able to travel to South Korea. Now to our income, we have one budget is the membership fee, and since we don't really take any money from our associate members, since those are like or individual people, we don't have any income there. For our ordinary members, which are the LCs, we have the membership fee, and so far we collected about €4,700 from them. This is only half of the amount that we actually expect to receive through the membership fee, but half of the LCs still haven't paid. This might be due to inactivity or just issues that they cannot pay the fee currently because they have financial problems or just problems to transact the money to us due to like governmental regulations or other issues. For the grants, we received the last amount from our Erasmus grant. This was a funding that we received over the last 3 years, and the 10,000 is just the rest. We originally received €40,000 per year, plus another 10,000 for submitting the project report about how we use the money that we got from Erasmus. And those 10,000 is just the final amount that we received this year from the past 3 years. Our partners or our income from the partners are pretty much just, or is pretty much just the money from IUFO. Those are 2,500 euros that we receive to spend on the next IUFO intern that will start the internship in September. And our final category or our final budget are donations from different categories. There we have the development fund. This money pretty much comes from IFSA auctions that or which are an event taking place on IFSA. And IFSA events like interim or regional meetings. We will also have such an auction here on IFSS. And this money is going to the development fund to support people or IFSA members all over the world to attend such events like the IFSS or regional meetings, or as well to organize local events among the LCs. Then another really nice thing that happened just recently was that a German organization called the Georg Ludwig Hartig Stiftung gave IFSA an award about 5,000 euros for being a sustainable organization and for our contribution to a more sustainable world. So this was a big accomplishment this year for us. It happened, or the ceremony happened in Munich in Germany. Then we got a donation which is kind of oriented, or which will be spent on NERM 2023. This is due to the fact that the last NERM OC made way more money or received way more donations for their event that they actually could spend, and so they decided to donate the money for the next OC. And the final category is the event about the Forest in Women's Hand, where we received a donation about 2,500 euros to be spent on gender-related events in IFSA. So this is also this is also a budget that has already its kind of or predefined usage. So we cannot use it in any other way besides on gender events. Oh, yeah. We can answer this question really quick.
Yeah, thank you for that. I am just wondering, like, are there any requirements from like the new donations? Like, if it's a prize award, do you have any way in which you're deciding how to spend this money? Like the unaccounted things, you know, like the ones that, because sometimes it comes like with conditions. Mm-hmm. So in this case, I'm just wondering how you're deciding on using it.
For this specific donation, we don't have any regulations. So the organization who awarded us didn't set or didn't a certain purpose we have to spend it on. So this is pretty much up to the next board, how they want to use that money in a proper way. In my opinion, it should be used for sustainability projects, since this was the actual meaning of the prize. And yeah. But this is not really up to us anymore, since we are finishing our term. So we are hoping for some really nice ideas from for the next board or for the next term. Yeah, the other question.
Yeah, hi. Are you finished with the financial report, or should I wait until you are finished?
I'm almost finished. There's just one more slide. We have to go, but you can also name or ask your question if it's due to finance or if it's related to finances.
Yeah, but finish first. It's fine.
Okay. Then, Elf, could you? Yeah. So this is just a little overview of how we used the money that we've spent on the development fund. So I think I start with the local committees. We have one meeting, the Germany meeting, that was organized by the LC in Erfurt, and they requested 500 euros to organize this event, to organize different activities, and yeah, that's it. Then we had another LC event by LC NASA in Africa. They requested 125 euros for their event to support them financially. They also had different other financial sources, so this hasn't been the entire budget for them. And the last, or actually it used to be the first event happening, was the launch of the Africa book by the Young African Forestry Project publication about building a successful forestry career in Africa. And the LCs who contributed to this project received the money for that will cover their expenses for this event. For the individuals, we supported in total 12 people in this year with an amount of 3,896 euros to attend different events, and also including the people who actually could travel to IFSS through this or through an open call to pay their financial expenses by the development fund. So I think, Johannes, you can ask your question now.
Yes, thank you very much. First of all, I really want to thank you for doing this job with the numbers and this money. That's quite a difficult job. Yeah, you said about the non-profit status. How problematic is that? Because I think we can't lose that.
To be honest, I don't know. I don't want to continue as a treasurer, but I will still be there and maybe contribute as a commissioner and to try to figure out this problem. We have this examination about our non-profit status during the next quarter to half a year, where we have to submit all our financial reports about the from the past 3 years to somehow prove what we spend our money on, how we spend it, and what were the reasons why we accumulated that much money. What I hope is that the financial authorities in Germany are understanding of the fact that we were not able to carry out or to organize that many events in person, what we usually spend all our money on, or main part of our money on, and that they will be as equivalent to give us another time to get rid of this money or to spend it another proper way afterwards during the next year or 2 years.
All right, thank you. I really hope so too, that the German authorities grant us this wish.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, I will continue with the question, if that's fine for the people. Yeah, because we have really a lot of money, and I guess we somehow need to get So my question is, the development fund has any how many people applied for it, and has everyone received money?
The first question, I cannot tell it right now. I don't have the exact number in my mind. For the second question, it definitely didn't happen that everyone who applied could get the money. This has had different reasons. First of all, we checked all the applications on the purpose that they asked for the money for, and not all applications have been qualified to actually receive the money. Second of all, some of the requested expenses have just been tremendously high compared to the purpose that they actually want the money for. So we asked for a lower budget, or to reapprove their planned expenses, and if they might be able to reduce the money. And I think the biggest loss or the biggest problem with giving out financial support through the development fund was related to the IFSS, where the entire process of evaluating and or even the open call just started way too late for people to properly work out their budgets, to apply for their visas, to make their to make the bookings for the flight. So in the end, people were just not able to come, and we couldn't spend the money that we wanted to for them. So we couldn't, or people couldn't come in the end due to different reasons, and we couldn't spend the money anymore on them as we planned when we choose them to be supported.
Thank you.
Okay, so we just got a number. So we had 36 applications in total. So which is quite a huge number compared to the 12 people that we could only support this year.
I mean, actually, it's a bit more the one we supported, but yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just wondering. I mean, we have so much money, like 111,000 euros. Yes, Simone.
Yeah, I'll say like we're going to talk about the budget next session. So we're going to approve the budget for the next year. So that's where you see what's the plan to spend money, where to spend it. And also for the development fund, yes, we have at the moment roughly 10,000 euros there. But also we are planning to, we have some criteria to be able to spend it like over the year, because we cannot spend 10,000 in 1 month and then we have nothing left for next year. So this is why even there is money in the budget, we are spending like slowly over time. Yeah. But for the overall IFSA budget, this is going to be tomorrow or next year session discussion. So.
Okay, so should I wait with my questions?
Yes.
All right.
This is the financial report. That's not the next IFSA budget.
All right, we'll do. Thank you very much.
And also one more addition I would like to add is that we are using development fund as a reimbursement. So in the first place, people need to pay in order to get the reimbursement and send the receipts. And therefore, especially for attending to IFSS, it was also problematic for people to pay in the first place and then for us to send them the money afterwards. That was also like one of the problems that in the end we couldn't support as much people. And that's due to the Erasmus funds reasons.
You want to?
No, I think I'm done.
Thanks. So the question is, are there any chances to reimburse candidates that applied to the development fund and did not get selected, but still went to IFSS? I guess no.
Yeah, so the answer is no, because like we had like 2 open calls for the development fund, like specifically for IFSS. One of them was for complete funding. So we had this open call in May for like, we're going to fund complete all your travel costs. And we selected a few people there, but then like we only actually to develop, because we was like some fund for officials, some fund only for development fund. At the end, the selected candidate from the development fund wasn't able to go due to mainly visa reasons. And then we did a second open call for partial funding, which is where you see these 3,800 euros coming from, but that's closed. So the time to apply for partial funding was like, and the partial funding was specific for people that were attending IFSS, but they were asking for some support.
I hope that was clear for the question. Are there any online questions? We are a bit short on time, so we need to move forward and we can, there's one in, okay.
Yeah, it's a different question, but I was wondering which bank are we using?
We are using a German bank called Postbank, which is a bit problematic. We facing the issue that our treasurer still needs to be able to speak German. And I tried to switch the bank this year, but we were facing other organizational issues where I could only get access to full access to a bank account in the second half of our term when we already sent out all the membership fees. So we had to postpone this project to switch the bank account. For the future plans, we try to find a bank that is fully online, so fully accessible for anyone not living in Germany. At the same time, we need a bank that is in English, so for people who don't speak German to be able to manage our money there. And yeah, those were the main restrictions so far that kind of limited our ability to become a treasurer, which required the applicant to be German, unfortunately.
Thanks for your answer and the efforts to get a new bank. A second question, is sustainability taken into account in the look for this new bank?
Yes, we try to. We try to find a new bank that actually invests into more sustainable projects, and instead of fossils or wars or stuff like that. We definitely want to take this into account, but the first prioritization is a proper work of or proper organization of our finances, which where the main focus lies on the international or the English usage of our bank account. So we get rid of this limit of always have to find a German to do this job.
Okay, thanks.
We have another question over there.
Yeah, and that's our final questions because we are short on time and we still have to talk about IFSS strategy.
All right. So my question is, I don't know if this has changed, but for my time in the board, the development fund was called development fund because it was awarded to developing countries according to the CIA World Pact book of low-income countries. I see there's money awarded to apparently, I don't know, based on what I see, countries that are maybe not a part of this category. So I would like to know if maybe this still stands, or if you have any kind of requirement for when you give out the money based on this definition of developing countries.
I think we don't have the specific definition anymore, but we try to prioritize monies from developing regions to be the first who actually receive the money. We know that Germany definitely is not like a proper recipient of this money, but to this time it also has been the only one applying for the fund from the LC category. So this was the reason why we ended up choosing to spend the money on this LC to this time.
There was a change in the ROPs in 2019 to add the possibility to support also middle and high income country, but the priority is to low income countries. But it's a mix between the income category and also the quality of the project. Can we get another question? No.
Sorry, but we really have to move on. We have the IFSS strategy in the next point, and we have is in the schedule 6 minutes. So we would exceed the time, but we need to move on. So I'm giving the floor to Simone for explaining you about the new IFSS strategy for the next 4 IFSS years.
Thank you. So yes, if you go next slide, please. Yes, the IFSS strategy. So in IFSS, we are trying to plan stuff to try to have a better long-term planning. And since I would say 10 years or so, maybe a bit more, we're starting to have this strategy, which is this, now we're having 4-year strategy to plan. It's like what we want to do as IFSS in the next 4 years. We had the strategy, new strategy from 2018-2022, which was the new revision. And like, honestly, this form of strategy didn't work too much with IFSA. Was also due to COVID, but because they started to introduce indicators, but they were not really connected to strategy goals. And some goals were also overly specific. So this didn't really happen. Like proper implementation. So we try to change the structure of the new strategy to fill those gaps. Yes. Next. Yeah, perfect. How we developed the strategy, there was like effort of over several months. We had a team of like 15 people from this strategy task force because we tried to get as many input as possible in the strategy development. Then we got the board finalizing the strategy, and then we also shared the strategy in July, I guess. So well before IFSS, in order to give everyone the possibility to give comments to the strategy. Yeah, this is the new strategy. Yes, there are way more indicators. Yeah, and like maybe we can go to the next slide, which is the new structure. So we try to be as conservative as possible with the strategy structure, but still we made changes. The main changes is that like we have these, let's say 4 levels. Goals, those are these very general goals of what IFSA is doing. There are 3 main goals, and then there are some goals, which are still like aims we want to achieve. For example, we want to increase, we say we want to have like more connectivity between students. We want to represent youth voices in international policies, those kind of sub-goals. And then we have action points, which are category of activities we want to do. So for example, if the sub-goal is to connect students, an action point is to have IFSS. And then we have the indicators, which is the key part here, which is going to show which, to monitor the progress here, because we, like the whole point of the strategy is to have a long-term vision and to understand how IFSA is evolving. And IFSA is changing a lot. And sometimes it's very hard to keep track what happened 10 years ago, 5 years ago. So with these indicators, we have a lot of indicators, but each indicator is also connected to an action point. So it's clear you have an action and you want to measure how much of that action you're doing. This is the idea. I don't know if you can go through the strategy now, because we're very short on time, but I guess you can have a look at it. It's a 25-page document. Yeah. And that's it, if you want to keep it short.
Thanks, Simone. So since we are short on time, we need to move on with the final point of the day, which is the officials of the year. At the IFSA final progress report, we have questions for officials to rank the 3 best officials that they think that are worth of rewarding for the officials of the year. So now I'm more than happy to announce these results and congratulate all the hard work of the officials. So there's a thing in the chat. Okay, great. So we are starting with the 3rd place. Can we have some drums? Jasmine! Yeah. So Jasmine was the head of the Capacity Development Commission this year. And from the beginning, she organized so many amazing projects, motivated her team I think in the best way. And yeah, I'm very happy that you're now awarded as one of the officials of the year. Do you have anything to say?
I want to cry, but I thank you so much. I really love this IFSA family, and I was really happy to work with you. And after and we are going to celebrate this.
Thank you, Jess. Can you stay? Jess, can you stay? Okay, now let's move on to second place. I forgot the certificate, sorry. So this is the virtual certificate for you. And now, drums again. Are you ready? We have Belle in the second place. I need to highlight her. Belle.
Hi. Wow, there's
I
so
will
many.
Yeah, great.
Like so.
Okay.
I don't know what to say.
Sorry.
Thank you guys. I wish I was there, but see you next year, I guess. Thank you.
Yeah. Of course, I have also a few words to say for Belle. She was our internal counselor this year, as you heard in the beginning of the presentation. And also, like Jasmine, from the beginning of the year, she really had a lot of motivation and help to all of the internal department officials, and always encouraged for cooperations with different positions, and organized so many projects, including the volunteer program and online IFSS activities. So we are more than grateful for all your hard work. So a big round of applause again. So now we are moving to first place. Oh, again, certificate. So another drum. Shima! Yeah. So, MC. Okay, so as you already know, Shimon was our membership counselor this year. And from beginning as an RR until this point, I think he was always so motivated to have new LCs in IFSA and improve the engagement of local committees, and also just connecting RRs to work all together. He has done an amazing job, and yeah, just giving the words to you.
Thank you so much. I was wondering if I should pretend I'm surprised, but I was helping with the slides, so I knew it before. But I really much appreciate it. Thank you so much. And just to make sure, the officials of the year weren't selected by the board, since we have 2 board members there. It were by all the officials were voting, so it's not us putting the prize for us, just to make sure. And thank you again so much. And it was a great pleasure to all the year and all the actually 2 years in the officials. And yeah, I enjoy so much and love you all.
So before we move on to final points, let's have Belle and have a group picture of the officials. Yeah. Officials of the year.
And I think you need to stop sharing. Yeah. No. Yeah, because I'm spotlighting this. I'm forcing spotlight. Wait. Yeah, we can. That's right. Actually, but you need to stop sharing the screen.
So who can make picture? Ada, can you make the picture?
When to smile.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on to final points. As you know, we will have the online votings. So for the first ballot, you will receive the votings for the Board of Assembly election. Okay.
I want to make a additional announcement around here. And beside the official of the year, I want to thank Alina for supporting the board, even though she's not in the board, and she was there helping with Erasmus proposals, last minute, job descriptions, minutes, everything. So I would like to thank her. And I think also we need a huge big round of applause for Alif because she's just amazing.
Thank you so much. Okay, moving on with the ballots, and thanks, Simone. So we have 4 votes for this ballot. You will receive the ballots to your official LC email addresses. If you don't have an access to your email addresses, you can approach us. We can help you getting your password. And the voting deadline is 30th of August, so right before the next GA session. Yeah, the time also is crucial. Okay, so thank you so much for all of your attention. I know it's hard to have early in the morning, and just thank you for your attention and see you in the next session.
If you guys want, there's coffee break again in